All the way from Denver, Colorado, this is Media Munchers. Launch! Go, 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 go! Yeah! Woo! Hello and welcome back to another episode of Media Munchers. I'm Mathian.
And I'm Adrian.
And today we are in the beautiful, beautiful Denver, Colorado. Oh my God, that doesn't look real.
But it is.
Dude, it is. It's a lot better than that green screen.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that. We're here to talk about one thing and one thing only. Dune. Big Apple. We saw Dune like, what was it, 2 nights ago now?
Yeah. Thursday night.
Yeah. 2 nights ago. Yeah. And boy, it was a long one. I hadn't seen the remake, or this is a remake. I hadn't seen the original or the series, anything like that. Had you?
No, I haven't.
So this is your first introduction to Dune, like most people.
Yeah, pretty much.
What was your initial impression? Because obviously it's a novel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And was this? I haven't read the first book. Boy, does this feel like a first book? And like, did you want more Big A? Did it do it?
Oh yeah, I definitely want more.
Like, because I know some people were turned off to it. I was talking to Step Pops, and he was like, I wanted to see more worms, and I was like, what? Like, all right.
We only got to see one, really, right?
Yeah, one
or two.
Well, two, but yeah, one big one, like it was like the teeth, and I was like, rah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this whole first movie spent like the entire runtime. It felt like mostly just setting every little detail up. You know, there's like a emperor we haven't seen yet. I don't know if they're gonna come into play. That'd be cool. There's this like royal family. There's like houses of people, kind of like. Feels really medieval, you know what I mean? In
a lot of ways, yeah.
A lot of inspiration from that. I buy into it. I buy into all of it. Is the lead Timothée Chalamet, right? That's his name? Mm-hmm. His performance was good. I felt like half the time he was just like, I haven't seen him in other stuff. Have you?
Yeah. I saw him in the King on Netflix.
How was that? How was he in that? What did he play?
He was good. He was the lead in that one too.
Was it more of a prince role because he's young, or?
Well, yeah, he becomes the king. He played King Arthur.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was he also like really stoic and like was that just? I'm trying to gauge if that.
Yeah. He was pretty similar.
Like if
in
that's
character
like a type that
way.
he plays a lot. Because I was like, is this boy just not giving us enough?
Yeah. He kind of is like that in a lot of roles.
Like he feels like a little one note at times, and then when he has to show emotion, he will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That tent scene was really great. Him screaming at his mom. I was like, oh. Shit.
Yeah, he's really good at like those still serious moments.
Yeah. Yeah, it killed it. I mean, this cast was jam packed. We had everybody. It was like Josh Brolin, help me out here.
Javier Bardem.
Yeah. That girl from The Greatest Showman. I need to learn her name.
Zendaya?
No, not her. Wasn't it the wife also in here? The one who played his mom? Or is that a different woman?
I don't remember her name.
Zendaya was great too. I honestly thought we weren't going to see much of her. Because I felt like the whole movie we were just getting like teases of his dreams.
It felt like in the trailer they presented her as
a larger character,
but I knew coming into this that we weren't going to see much.
Right.
And that her character was supposed to be played as a larger part in the sequel.
In the future. And it's exactly what they're setting up. So I'm intrigued to see where that goes because the whole time he's got that really like young blood, like he's like, I'm in my early 20s, like I want to help the world. And it's good. His like intentions are good and stuff.
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting like half the freaking cast to just straight up die in the first one. That's why it was so jam packed.
Yeah, it was.
So I was like, man, let's go. But like going forward, what do you think? How far do you think this is gonna go? Knowing nothing about it, like he's gonna help the.
Well, I do think they're definitely planning on doing the second part.
Right.
And I think that would complete the first book, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because it said part 1 at the end.
Yeah. No, but in the book, because there's I think there's a series.
Right.
So there's more than one book. I think that would complete the first one, and then maybe they would carry over into the others.
Oh yeah. I mean, I hope they do the whole series. But my point is like, how far do you think he's gonna go? Like, do you think there's gonna be more than? Do you feel like the end game is just him saving these people or working out an alliance with them, or do you think he's gonna go all the way to marry like the Emperor's daughter and have a play for the throne? I want to see more of like his psychic ability, like controlling people. That's crazy. The voice, is what they called it. That was great. I'd never seen something like that.
Yeah, well, I saw a ton of Star Wars
inspiration
parallels. Yeah.
I saw some of those.
Because Star Wars was influenced by Dune.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because it came before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. I saw tons of parallels. I mean, I couldn't help but think of Emperor Palpatine when that big ugly disfigured guy was floating.
Yeah.
What's up with that? How come he can float?
I don't know.
We got to find out.
You think it has to do with the what was the power
The
called?
spice?
Yeah. No, not the spice. The same kind of powers that Timothy's character has.
Do you think it has something to do with like the witches cult? I don't want to call them that, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, whatever.
The witch women, whatever. It might have something to do with that. What I want to know is if there are parallels in Star Wars, is there going to be something similar to the Force and like this inherent ability that people have? Or I noticed there was like machines on his back. You know, is he cybernetically augmented?
Right. He could be enhanced.
Is that why he floats? And at the end, that badass scene where we thought he gets killed because the shields. I just thought about the shield tech.
That was interesting. I thought it was cool like concept. Yeah, because it felt like kind of low tech, but still pretty advanced. Yeah.
Yeah, because my understanding was it would like stop fast moving objects as much as it could. And what the weaknesses was if it was a slow moving object or if it was a projectile, it can only hold it off for so long.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was like, that's really interesting. I got to see more of what happens with those rules.
Yeah.
But at the end, we see him like after the attack on his life, he's just like kind of floating. I'm like, I was like, okay, that dude's definitely not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
So we're hitting you from the studio because we were a little, let's say, higher than usual, you know, being in the mountains and stuff in Denver. So I wanted to reevaluate like my thoughts of Dune and just add more to it while we're here. So upon rewatch and doing a little more thinking, I think there's some points to be made here. One, director Denis Villeneuve, I think is how you say his name.
Denis Villeneuve.
Oh, it's Villeneuve. Is he French?
He's French.
That's why I messed up the pronunciation.
You're good.
Anyway, he kills the visuals, but regardless, the design of the sandworms were like truly scary to me. I was like, okay, this is some IMAX worthy stuff. Like we should have seen it in there. The visuals all over this movie were great. I really loved the world design and all that. Some didn't like this movie, including my younger brother, because he thought it was like mostly boring. And I can see where he's coming from, because it's not like just an action flick through and through. It's like more of a drama and sci-fi, like first, and then action so happens to be there. And also, it's the introductory movie. I mean, like, I think the action was slim, but it was really well placed for a movie that's setting up so much. Like, literally, it's just the exposition vomit, you know, through most of the movie. It's not, like, too wordy, but there's a lot of, you know, showing and telling going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I thought it was fine. Like, the fight at the end, we talked about it briefly. It could have been longer, but it is what it is. Hopefully, there's way more of that to come, especially once he turns sides and he's, like, with, I forget the natives, what they're called on the planet.
Fremen.
Fremen. Okay, cool name. Anyway, so I think we're gonna see a lot more of that, and also I want to see more of Zendaya at play, like her character. Like I want to see more of like, does she hold like a contrast to him? Is she gonna fight him? Is she just gonna show him the way? Is like she gonna be his like, you know, lightning rod? And this is what it is. This is what we do here. You know what I mean? Like I wonder how much of a role she's gonna have besides just being like dramatic dream girl.
Yeah, I've heard comparisons to Pocahontas.
Interesting.
Into where they might go with the story.
I can see that really easily.
Yeah.
So I definitely see the parallels there. That's interesting. The score, I didn't even know was Hans Zimmer. I had to like look that up. Someone had to tell me. That was tight. It was fantastic. He really leaned into that moaning theme appropriately. You know, I can't even recreate it, but it was great. I don't know if we mentioned this earlier, but I thought the shield tech was really interesting. That was a new approach for sci-fi concept. Like how would you describe it other than that, like when it was activated, fast moving objects couldn't really penetrate? You have to do slow and like methodical cuts or like piercing, you know what I mean? Or there was like a time limit, like it can only hold a bullet back, let's say, for so long, or a dart or whatever the case was, and then eventually it penetrated
slow enough that
it would still go, which was interesting. I was like, they didn't tell us much, but I was like, and I didn't read the books. I was like, how do those shields work? Are we slowing time here, or like what is this weird gravity bending stuff? It's really cool the way they play with that. I really like the futuristic space opera of it all, and like I like how it was well dressed and like everyone was dressed in like medieval seeming garb, especially like royalty in the houses.
Yeah. It definitely felt like ancient.
Yeah,
like there was a lot of history behind it.
A lot of ancient inspiration and history, but like that like juxtaposed with like, hey, we're in the future. Like there's also future tech. It's so interesting, like that combination, because usually you lean really hard into one or the other. You know what I mean? You're either Game of Thrones or you're Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like it's not usually both. Which I just thought it was really interesting. Yeah. The voice switches and all that lore, it really stood out to me. I wish we saw more of it, but I liked that he was like kind of learning his abilities and all that.
Yeah, I liked how they introduced it. The voice from the get. We see sort of how it works.
Mhm.
and how it is like a key sort of part of the character
Right, right.
of Paul.
I also like how they give us all the proper context. Well, all the proper context we need for this film, and that they were like the witch's cult or whatever, the high witch, whatever you want to call her, was disappointed in the mother
Mm-hmm.
for like birthing a son because a son's not supposed to have these abilities or be taught in the ways of the voice.
Yeah, the Benny Gesserit.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was really interesting. He's also seems like at the same time he's like a walking messiah. Like there's like all these allusions to like, oh, he's too young to be the one.
Possibly the one.
The one, yeah. I'm just gonna say that. I don't. There's a technical word for it. I don't know what it is, but it's the one.
I think they were calling him. They referenced him as the one, or at least he did.
Or some sort of thing, right? Yeah. And he's like reluctant. He doesn't want to necessarily be that, but and he's learning all these life lessons from his father. But that's a whole thing. Another thing too, that I definitely messed up about when we were in Denver was that it was technology on the villain's back. Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, played by Stellan Skarsgård. Is that how you say his name?
Mm-hmm.
He's a great actor. We know him from Thor.
Thor.
I'm glad he got I didn't even recognize him and all that. I mean, why would you?
I didn't either.
He just looked like some big freaking, I don't know, Fisk-looking character, just all obese and like with these powers. He was intimidating too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, makeup, special effects is fantastic on his character. But yeah, I'm glad we're seeing him. I'm sure he's done a lot of things, but I haven't seen him in much. I'm glad we're seeing more than just the crazy like fringe scientist. Like this was a beefier role, and he played it really well. Like it was menacing.
Yeah, this was more serious.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Another thing too is that I think we were talking about it with my cousin Adam, but that technology that was on his back that allows him to levitate and stuff, that has to be the same tech those soldiers were using, right? When they were zip lining in.
Yeah, I think so. I think you get a glimpse of that.
Like the tech on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know more about their suits. I think it just helps with the climate and all that. But anyway, there's just lots of little like, treats. Like they're throwing us a lot of little bones and like, hey, look, this is what you can expect. This is what you can expect.
Mm-hmm.
And upon a rewatch, which this is definitely a movie you can appreciate a rewatch or two to really grab everything you missed.
Or 3.
Or 3, yeah, seriously.
It's a pretty dense movie.
It's super dense, and that's why I think we messed up so much earlier. But it's worth it. Like I think it also plays to me like it could be like definitely like a really high budget miniseries because it felt like we were watching a distinct like chapters and stuff, which obviously it was the novel, right? So I mean, of course, there's gonna be that kind of feel to it. But I'm just like, man, this feels like it could be an early 5 or 6 episodes of like a 23 episode season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or something like that. So,
they did already
greenlight the second one, right?
Yeah,
and it's supposed to be coming out in 2023, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, it's a breakneck speed. It feels like Infinity War and Endgame, like back to back, that kind of thing, within a year of each other.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good because you don't want the general public to lose interest too fast. Like if it took 4 or 5 years, who cares? But the fact that we can look forward to it next year and really dig upon and expand upon what we saw in the first movie, I think it's going to do well for the franchise as a whole. So
definitely.
How fast do you think, let's say the next one's also a pretty good commercial hit, how fast do you think they're going to come out with like book 2 or part 2, however they call it? Do you think it's going to be a 1 or 2 year cycle kind of thing, kind of like with most trilogies like Harry Potter and like maybe the Hunger Games?
Are you referring back to the books?
Yeah, how many books are there, do you know?
I think there's there already are sequels to them. There's Dune the book, and then there's like another
like a follow-up?
1 or 2 that follow up.
But would you call the books like a trilogy, like 3 big books to encompass the whole story, or is it
I
one
don't know
big
enough
book?
to
You don't know
like how.
Well, let's assume it is like 3 big books, right?
Yeah.
Let's assume, right? Like how Harry Potter had 7 books or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Let's assume Dune has like 3. Do you think they're gonna wait a long time to get to book 2 or any kind of spin-off?
Well, I know Denis Villeneuve. He wants to do this one, and then he wants to break up the Dune book as 3 different parts.
Interesting.
But I don't know if he wants to go further than that. Further than the book itself.
Okay. Interesting. I'm gonna have to like read up on that and see what's up with that.
Yeah.
But my final thoughts, it's so much. But I like it. I like being introduced to something new. And I thought they did it really well. I told you again, I keep saying it. I walked out of it and I was like, whoa, that's the first piece of cinema I've seen in a minute. Like just visual storytelling, everything was on point. So it was really good. My final thoughts that it's a slow burn at times, but it really does wonders to set up the lore. And I felt like it stopped too soon. Like I know it's a movie and they have to stop somewhere, but I was like, man, like give me a 3-hour movie. Like let's see more, or put a better pin on it. But I can't wait to see what's next.
I would have been interested, maybe if I had read the book.
Yeah.
Possibly knowing like was that a good point within the book
to end? Yeah.
Because from what I've heard, it's a decent spot, but I don't know if it's necessarily the best.
The best, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I can't even judge it because I haven't read the book. So
yeah, exactly.
But I know as an audience goer, I'm like, I mean, they give us a little hint of action at the end with the whole like, okay, he's in it, he's in with those people, and so from that point of view, I mean, yeah, it's a decent letting off point for the story, I guess, in the movie. But we'll see. I don't know. It leaves you wanting more, and maybe that's on purpose. So
Yeah.
So anyway, solid film. Not my most favorite, but like I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed my time with it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Going into it, I was excited initially just because Denis Villeneuve. I followed his work. That's he's one of my favorite directors.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, seeing his visuals and seeing how he's evolved into
Right.
this
Mm-hmm.
movie, that's what I liked about it.
Can I ask
a
you
lot.
quickly, without going into too much detail, have you seen a clear and present evolution in his work and his style? Like, has it gotten better from your point of view?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is actually like, in particular, speaking to the scope of the ships and the way that it was all animated and cinema.
Yeah, like how the cinematography of it was like,
Yeah.
how it was approached. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, all of that, like that was it. That was his style at the finest form.
Really? So he's like fully matured. I like that. Like
Yeah.
okay, that's cool. That's really cool. We'll send it back to Denver and we'll wrap up there. But we just wanted to clean some things up and really give our final thoughts on it. Next week for sure we got to go see Eternals tonight. So that's for sure happening next week. Maybe a little bit of visions and maybe a little news. All right.
Yeah.
Back to us in Denver. We're done.
Man. Any gripes? Any things that didn't sit well with you about it?
I would have liked to see more of Javier Bardem's character.
You're telling me. Killed him.
Yeah. I felt like we could have gotten to know him better
For real.
than that.
Yeah, that was bittersweet. That annoyed me. I was like, man, the good ones have to go quick. You know?
Yeah.
I liked more of the tech, like the sand scraper or compactor, like how he climbed his way, his
that
way
was
out
dope.
from the tent, that overnight stay. I really thought it reminded me of Avatar, like the animal-inspired tech, like the drones,
Oh, right,
like the
yeah.
airships. That was really cool. Yeah, this is a really unique world. It's really familiar yet different, you know?
Yeah, I love the cinematography.
Loved it. I mean, this whole movie, I told you when we were coming out of the film, I was like, man, this is like the first time I've seen cinema in a long time.
Yeah.
I've seen like a lot of high octane, high action stuff, which is cool. It's done well. But I'm like, wow, that's his arts. Like, you know, when The Rock holds like a helicopter from a truck, I don't know if that's high art. It's entertainment, but it's high art. So I could see a lot of people getting snobby about this film really quick. Do you think we're ever going to leave Dune? Or is it just because the series is called that? It's all about the sand. It's all about the spice.
I don't know. I like that we were able to see so much of the world outside of just that one planet.
Yeah.
So I think they're probably going to show more.
I hope so.
I would think.
Because, I mean, it's a beautiful planet and all that, you know, in its own way. But, like, I want to see more than just that. Like, what if they do get off-world? What if they have a rebellion or whatever, however you want to call it, and then they come into power, the spice people. Oh, I forget their names. And then they're, but some way, like, maybe they want to split out. Or maybe they don't. I don't know. Like, I want to see how far-reaching, what was his name, Paul or Poe?
Paul.
Yeah. Okay, I want to see how far-reaching his aspirations are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But overall, it was a pretty good time. I think, I agree with my cousin. The fight scene at the end where he's like, he's hyped up this entire movie to be like the one, like basically Jesus, you know, reborn or something for the
Yeah.
And like, oh, we don't believe it. We don't believe he's the one. This and this and that. You know, he's too young. Whatever. I wonder how far that's gonna take him. Like, does he have a bigger sense of obligation if he is the one? You know what I mean? To do better for the galaxy and maybe like take over, or does his dream stop at just like, I saved this planet. I'm in love. I'm gonna retire. You don't know?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Real spicy.
Definitely.
But, overall, one of the best films I've seen in a while.
Yeah, man, I loved it.
One of the best locations I've seen in a fat minute. And we're just gonna wrap it up there. For Media Munchers, I'm Nathan.
And I'm Adrian.
We'll see you next time.